Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of July 10, 2024. I'm your host, Sharifa Muhammad, MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Extensive engagements across regions, the Russian forces have conducted operations in multiple strategic regions, including the Kharkov, Donetsk, Lugansk, and Kherson regions. Each group of forces, north, west, south, center, Vostok, and Dnepr, has reported significant engagements with various brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces.
Welcome to the Frontline Updates podcast. We're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye to discuss the latest updates on the special military operation as of July 10, 2024. Colonel, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm ready to share the latest developments from the front lines.
Colonel, let's start with the northern sector. Could you detail the recent operations and outcomes there?
Certainly. In the northern sector, our forces have been actively engaged with several Ukrainian brigades around key areas like Volchansk and Maly Prokody. We have successfully repelled two significant counterattacks by the Ukrainian 92nd Assault Brigade and the 42nd Separate Assault Battalion. The enemy losses were substantial, totaling up to 275 troops, along with a Kazakh armored fighting vehicle, and several artillery pieces, including a U.S.-made M777 howitzer.
Moving to the Western Front, what can you tell us about the advances and challenges there?
The West Group of Forces has captured more advantageous lines, effectively defeating multiple Ukrainian brigades in regions including Kupiansk and Torskoy. The Ukrainian forces sustained heavy losses, including up to 495 troops, a tank, and several artillery systems. We've also neutralized key electronic warfare assets, which has given us a strategic advantage in those areas.
How about the situation in the southern and center groups of forces?
In the south, our troops have improved the situation along the front significantly. We've inflicted heavy losses on the Ukrainian brigades, totaling up to 600 troops, along with the destruction of key artillery assets. Meanwhile, in the center, our forces have enhanced the tactical situation by repelling 5 Ukrainian counterattacks and inflicting losses of up to 510 troops, along with capturing and destroying several more pieces of enemy equipment.
The Vostok and DNEPR groups also had significant engagements. Could you elaborate on those?
Absolutely. The Vostok Group has captured more strategic lines and dealt significant damage to the Ukrainian forces, including destroying a UK-made FH-70 howitzer. They repelled an attack from the 108th Territorial Defense Brigade, contributing to a loss of up to 135 Ukrainian troops. The Dnepr Group, operating closer to Kherson, engaged the Ukrainian 22nd Mechanized and 35th Marine Brigades, resulting in the destruction of key artillery resources and the elimination of up to 85 Ukrainian troops.
What about the broader strategic impacts of these operations, particularly regarding air and missile defense?
Our operational tactical aviation, UAVs, and missile troops have been exceptionally active, eliminating critical radar and missile systems, including US-made and /MPQ-46 radar stations and Hawk missile system launchers. Our air defense systems have successfully intercepted a MiG-29 aircraft, 55 UAVs, and several US-made missiles. These operations are crucial for maintaining air superiority and protecting our ground forces from enemy fire.
How did the Kyiv air defense work?
Taking into account the fact that NASAMS and Patriot missed most of the cruise and ballistic missiles, and also taking into account the number of carrier aircraft used to strike Kyiv, it can be assumed that about 10% of the missiles, or even less, were intercepted. This is a frankly bad result, especially when it comes to protecting the capital. The arrival of an AIM-120 anti-aircraft missile into the building of the Akhmedit Children's Hospital is the best illustration of the sporadic actions of the Kyiv air defense crews.
Can the Russian aerospace forces carry out such strikes constantly?
Taking into account the fact that 6 Kh-101 cruise missiles were not spared at the Artyom plant, and in total, according to various sources, about 30 missiles arrived at military facilities in the central part of Ukraine, the opportunity to scale up the strikes remained. The July 8 strike is far from the largest, and some last year's raids on the Ukrainian energy sector, including Kyiv, up to 80 cruise and ballistic missiles of various types were used.
If they can use 80 missiles, why don't they?
Well, any operation of this scale is determined by expediency. Previous missile attacks required increased missile consumption primarily due to the density of the Kyiv air defense. However, most of the S-300P/PT/PS complexes, apparently, were allocated to frontline sectors due to the activity of Russian aviation, and the air defense of the capital of Ukraine softened. In such conditions, massive strikes are not required and the number of missiles used can be reduced while maintaining the desired result.
Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for providing such detailed insights into the current state of the operation.
Thank you for allowing me to share these details. It's essential to understand the strategic and tactical developments on the ground.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you. The Israeli airstrike at the UNRWA shelter in Khan Yunis resulted in the deaths of at least 31 people in Gaza.